Well, hello guys. It's been a really long time since I've done a screen recording. It's been a super long time since I did a Is It Obsolete video, as I'm gonna call it for now. I don't know the official name of it. But we're gonna go to GSM Arena. Oh, we can also just go into the app. That is also a thing. Here we go. Um, Previously we took a look at the BenQ F52, I think it was, but it was definitely a BenQ. And it was a very good phone still, although the software was too old, and for power users the RAM wasn't powerful enough, if I recall correctly. And cheap brands is also cheap means also cheap battery, so I don't know about battery. We're gonna take a look at the Samsung Galaxy A3. No, not the A3 from 2014. Not the A3 from 2016, which is my newest phone in my collection. I can barely even type. We're gonna take a look at the one from 20. No, that this 2016 one is the one that I have in black. It's an absolute gorgeous looking phone. Although, yeah, we're gonna take a look at the A3 2017. As you see from my screen, battery isn't that huge of an upgrade. We're definitely gonna compare these two. Yeah, we're just gonna do compare. Let me just do that. 2016. So what you immediately notice is the A3 2016 is suffering in terms of RAM. Um. Oh, the thing that's not gonna suffer on the A3 2017 is definitely the IP68 dust water resistance. That's very nice. Um. Actually, this one has a bigger screen to body ratio. Although the bezels are quite chunky here. I'm actually holding the A3 right now above my phone, and it's cracked. So they both have Corning Gorilla Glass, so that's definitely not gonna suffer in the future. They both have Exynos chipsets, and let's just take a look first at the A3 2017. It has Android Marshmallow and 8.0, so if you're on either of those, they will still have full Play Store support. Android 6.0 is currently still supported on the newest Play Store version, but Google is rapidly depreciating stuff, and Android 5.1 doesn't support the newest Android Google Play Store version anymore. The one with the little with this. Let's take a look at it. This. If you see this as a splash screen, that means you have the newest Play Store. If not, then you don't. Android 8.0 is quite nice, but I just don't like newer TouchWiz. I really don't mind that they took away TouchWiz. TouchWiz in the early days of Android 2.3 and Android 4.0, especially Gingerbread and Ice Cream Sandwich, are definitely my favorite in terms of TouchWiz. But yeah, you just keep forgetting using those widgets and you just don't mind it or use it. But on Android 7, I think TouchWiz looks ugly. Really ugly. I use the A3 like almost every day, and the battery drains quite a lot. 1.5 gig of RAM is just not enough to run it. But yeah, Android 8.0 with 2 gigs of RAM is usable because it's 3 gigs of RAM, but my grandma has a tablet which also runs Android 8.0, and that one is also quite good and quite pretty darn fast. So software, it's alright. Android 8.0 is alright. I use 9.0, so I don't really know if I'm suffering of Android versions. The GPU is the main suffer point. My Galaxy A3 sucks a lot with gaming. No, not a lot, but even so simple AR stuff. If you're into that, then don't get it. So the T830 MP1 is kind of gonna suffer because it's a single core GPU, hence the name MP1. Even my it is quite good that they did it actually, because the T830 is for the price a good GPU. And that's the reason why they put in less cores. Same with the Mali 400 MP. The Galaxy S2 has a Mali 400 MP. But instead of putting 1 or 2 cores in it, they put it 4 cores in it, and that really helps. That really freaking helps. But putting 1 core in a at the time good GPU, especially for budget phones, I don't really know. I mean, I'm living with a 3 core GPU, but it's a pretty darn high end one. Um, it's the Mali G72 MP3. It's ever so slightly better than the G71, and the G71 is the first generation of the G and not the T or the MP series or 400 series, whatever they're called. But it's not really gonna be that bad if you're just doing some simple games. It's gonna be pretty good. Um, but you're not really gonna notice it if you're just gonna use it for WhatsApp. That's actually what this phone is gonna be perfect for, to be real honest. The CPU is also pretty good because they switched from they had a huge upgrade on that. I don't know about the Snapdragon 410, but I have the Exynos version here because I'm living in Europe. And 14 nanometers going from 28, which all depends on battery life and efficiency, to 14. That's quite good. I'm also living with 14, and the battery life is absolutely outstanding. I'm not kidding. I've been using this thing all day long, and it's gone from 63 to 45. So yeah, not that much suffering on the CPU. So yeah, the screen is small and the smaller ratio, but Super AMOLED is absolutely amazing. Let's just turn this off. So yeah, pretty darn good phone. Let's go take a look at the A3 2016, which is a phone I have to say a little bit more about. No, we already know how it looks. I think it looks way better than the A3 2017. That could be me because pink is just an ugly color. Main suffer point, in my opinion, is the RAM and the battery. Battery doesn't last that long. I mean, standby efficiency is absolutely great. It sometimes doesn't even in a whole sleeping time, like 7 hours, it doesn't drain any percentage sometimes. But yeah, it has only 16 gigs of storage, which is not a lot at all. I mean, I minimally want 32 gigs in my phone, and I literally had to buy another 64 gigabyte SD card for my phone because all the 64 gigs were up. They were filled with photos and apps. So now my apps are on my phone storage and my photos are on my SD card. So I have 64 gigabytes combined that available storage left. So I don't have to worry at all. With 16 gigs, no. And eMMC 4.5, nope. That's pretty darn slow. I'm living with 5.1. It's not ideal, but it's definitely usable. eMMC is basically the speed of your storage. Not really important at all for a phone, but yeah. Depends if you want to use a phone as an SSD or something. When I have a gig of RAM, yeah, the RAM is a suffer point. On Android Lollipop, it is totally fine. I think Lollipop didn't even release, because if I go to the oldest video about this phone, it always says Android 6 Marshmallow. So yeah, that's quite kind of crazy. On Marshmallow, 1.5 gig of RAM is alright, because if you can get your Galaxy S5 with 2 gigs on there, then 1.5 gig of RAM is going to be alright. But 7.0, yeah, that's a little too much for the 1 gig of RAM. Some apps are just not really gonna run, but since Samsung is really good with multitasking optimization, I can literally jump between YouTube and Mobile Legends, which is a pretty darn heavy app. Pretty easy. You can get 30 FPS with the graphics on max and about 40 with on medium, so the GPU is alright, but don't go too far with the GPU. It is just not that powerful. The Meli T series aren't the best at all. I have the T628 on my tablet, and for the games I use them for, they're okay, but sometimes the processor heats up a ton, and the T628 is an absolute power slurper. Like, even an 8000 mAh battery, you can literally shove in a 1600 mAh power bank, and it's not even gonna last that freaking long. But yeah, my tablet is meant to have a powerhouse CPU that's gonna eat a ton of power, so that's the reason why it has that big battery. This phone, yeah, it's 720p display is totally alright on for that 7 inches. Like, I'm living with 6.2 inches with 720p, and even I can't see any pixels for as yet. So that's pretty okay. The Adreno 306. I don't have the Qualcomm version, thank God, because I hate that brand. Camera is the best. 13 megapixels, 1080p. It's as good as the phone I'm using right now. Camera is very, very smooth. Although the selfie camera isn't the best. It's a little washed out and a little soft. Oh, and f1.9 is very good, so it's a very responsive camera, and I can definitely notice that. Although it doesn't have pixel depth autofocus, which is PDAF, as you can see right here, it only has AF. No, yeah. No, not panorama. Quad-core 105 GHz. Processor kind of suffers and gets hot for a little bit. But yeah, for the rest, it is a pretty decent phone. Final conclusion, is it good? Well, 130 euros is not the real price. It's literally 220 euros. And for that big price, no, it's definitely not worth it. Unless you just really are attracted to aluminum and a glass sandwich. Or yeah, whatever you want to call it. Oh, and it doesn't have USB-C, but that isn't really that big of a deal breaker. And I have the SMA 310F, the one right here. So yeah, guys, is it worth $430? Kind of. See y'all later.